Hi, I'm Katie O'Reilly and welcome to KTO's Food Carnival. Today we are going to Cuba for some incredibly delightful bites that you can prepare in advance for your friends. Havana is trending right now and we want to be on the top of that trend. These are things that many people have not necessarily experienced, they might have heard about, but we're going to introduce them and the flavors are bright and exciting. So let's dive into the Carnival kitchen and get to cooking. Dip my shrimp. Much for joining for tasting time. Hi, I'm Katie O'Reilly and welcome to KTO's Food Carnival. Here in the Carnival kitchen, we are cooking up some Havana bites. I am taking some of the classic Cuban entree dishes and favorites and turning them into bite-sized pieces that you can serve at your party for your guests, and a lot of it, the work can be done in advance, which is always essential when entertaining. I like to keep you clean and looking pretty, right? So you can enjoy your party. Let's start off with what to serve to drink. Alcohol, no alcohol, doesn't really matter. One of the major ingredients you want to put into a Havana Breeze cocktail is guava juice. Guava nectar, anything with guava. It's a very Cuban flavor. We're going to see that later on, also even in our cookies, pastries, anything. Guava is essential, but it adds a fruitiness that almost has like a creamy texture. It's brilliant. Now, the warning, it's super sweet, so you want to mix it with something else, seltzer, a lot of ice, whatever you want to do. It's incredible. So that's going to be a palate starter for all of your guests walking in. Like I said, alcohol, no alcohol, whatever you want to do. Rum goes with guava, just a hint. Okay, where do we get started? The Cuban panini is something people have often heard about, but not really had a Cuban sandwich. And so they're not totally familiar with the flavor profiles of what would go into it. And certainly you'd be mystified on how you would create it for your guests if you've never really experienced it. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is. Then you're going to realize that actually these flavors are something you're very familiar with. Let's take a look. Many people out there have never actually eaten a Cuban panini. Oh my God. It's simple and delicious and a layering of flavors that's like no other. Let's get marinating our pork, because pork is one of the most major ingredients out there into the sandwich. Pork, here we are. Look at that, a nice pork roast. Marinade. Let's start. 2 tablespoons of dried oregano. Oh yes. A cup of chopped onions. We're going to just dump. Half a cup of fresh squeezed lime juice. A cup of fresh squeezed lemon juice. And a cup of fresh squeezed orange juice. Our zesty, citrusy flair is going right into this meat. 1/3 of a cup of olive oil, just to glaze. And then, of course, our salt and pepper to taste. But I've got about 1/4 of a cup going on in there. Just going to make sure all my onions get in there because you want all of this. We are going to cover and we are going to refrigerate this one for up to 4 hours in the fridge is perfect. We're going to take it out. We're going to roast it in the oven at 400 degrees, depending on the thickness, for about 45 minutes. And our kitchen magic, our roast comes out. Beautiful. Look at that. Beautifully cooked all the way through, but not dried. It's still juicy. And let's get to building our Cuban panini. I'm going to tell you my little kitchen hack. This is what it is. Take your French bread, especially if you're entertaining for people. Grill it on your grill. Get those grill marks on the outside. That's going to add that smoky flair, and it's going to make it really decadent. Now, for the actual build, let me just do this. We are going to open up yellow mustard to start. Oh yes. Both sides. Yellow mustard has a vinegar essence that really adds a spike. It's not spicy, but it's got zest, and it really highlights the pork. Our beautiful pork that's been roasted goes down in a layer. You can slice it as thin or as thick as you like, but I just make sure that it's nice and tender. Then I've got some cheese. Oh my God, we all love Swiss cheese. Get a good high quality Swiss that you enjoy eating, because this is your sandwich. Smoky ham, okay, sliced thin. Let's layer that. Oh God, this is a good sandwich. I'm telling you, it's simple, it's recognizable, and it's delicious. So everyone's gonna love it. Pickles, sliced super paper thin, that have a great vinaigrette, something that you enjoy. It's gonna highlight and work together with both the ham, the pork, and that zesty mustard. Now, because I'm kind of that girl, I like another layer of cheese. Now, you don't want to sit there with a panini press with your friends, so this is my hack for you. You've already grilled, you've got that smoky element. Let's do this. Let's wrap this entire sandwich in foil. And what we're going to end up doing is compacting it down, kind of pressing it together, and right as your guests you're about to serve, you're going to take that kitchen magic, we're going to stick it in the oven, and we are going to have, now the oven time is about 425, literally for 5 minutes, just to melt that cheese and get the inside hot. We're going to reveal this incredible panini. It doesn't have to be flaming hot or ooey gooey necessarily. It has to have been melted, but it can sit on a tray after being served, and your guests are still going to have an incredible full-bodied experience, filling their mouth with so many flavors. That is just layers with that mustard and pickle, the pork, and then the smoky ham, and that Swiss cheese. And like I said in my little tip, grill that bread in advance, and you get that smokiness going on. But if you don't, that's okay too. So we're moving on. Okay. Obviously, ham and Swiss are a classic in Cuba and Cuban flavors. What I'm going to show you right now is a Cuban delight. Why they call it the Cuban delight is because it emulates the same flavor profiles as the Cuban sandwich, however, without the bread, pickle, and mustard. So here we go. It's kind of like a chicken cordon bleu. So when you see these ingredients, you're going to recognize this. But however, for today's show, Cuban delight. Chicken breast, pounded so thin. I've showed you so many times. You get that hammer, that emulet, and you pound, pound, pound. But I am going to hold this up and show you how thin we're talking. Paper thin. Look at that. That's our chicken breast. Totally raw, completely beautiful. Salt and pepper that baby. I love to do a mixture of salt and pepper because then I know my ratios. And I know I'm getting it, both of those all over the entire chicken. And then, once again, our same smoking ham. You can use like a Tazo ham. You can use just a tavern smoked ham. You decide. A nice layer, maybe 2 nice thin pieces. And then we've got Swiss cheese. Again, same flavors. I'm telling you, incredible. And when we roll, we're actually going to roll this way. So we roll it up into a long roll, which is really going to be an elegant dish. We are going to take these rolls, dip them in our egg wash, our panko, and our Parmesan cheese this time, because that Parmesan cheese is going to add that sharpness that's going to highlight all these flavors. Because remember, we don't have that bright mustard. Parmesan's going to do wonderful things. We are going to bake that in the oven. And let me show you. It's going to come out beautifully golden brown. And without hesitation, you can so easily slice into your bite-sized pieces, any size you really want. skewer them, and boy, is everybody going to be loving you. Even if they get to room temperature, these are going to work perfectly. They don't have to be piping hot, just nice and crisp. So, what I love to serve this with is a little Parmesan lemon cream sauce, which adds that, oh, I don't know, that decadent little flair. Whether you want to eat this with a pick or not, it doesn't matter. But that is going to be creamy, salty, and crunchy with that outer panko crust. Very familiar, very welcome to the palate. Everybody's going to enjoy that. And again, can definitely be enjoyed room temperature. Okay, Papa Relleno. It's a classic entree. I've got to show you, not so hard. I love to take those flavors and transform them, so here we go. The base of the Papa Relleno is ground pork, and we are going to start with that. So you see that right in front of me. This is just ground pork. I've got a pound. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic. I've got a tablespoon of oregano. All the classic ingredients you're going to see. Sometimes in these flavor profiles, you're going to repeat the flavors. This is onion again, a half a cup chopped diced onion. I love a little tomato paste in this, so let's say a heaping tablespoon on that one. Maybe a tablespoon and a half. Half a cup of chopped tomato. De-seeded, because we don't want all that juice, we just want kind of the fleshiness. And a third of a cup of really finely chopped green pepper, once again de-seeded. We just want that meaty flesh. This is all going to be combined. And I'm not going to forget, because nobody ever wants to forget, to add a little salt and pepper to taste, okay? So we want to have that nearby. This is going to get all stirred up. What we're really going to do with this is take it over to a hot pan, saute that all together where it's going to get really mixed together, and it's going to turn out just like this. This is our ground pork mixture. I've allowed this to cool. So this is great. One of the ingredients I forgot to mention that you add into this is a little white wine vinegar. So when you're making that mixture, sorry to retro back, but I'm going to add it. I don't want you to forget. White wine vinegar is going to heighten the acidity into the meat and really bring all those flavors to a brighter level. So don't forget, this is a third a cup of white wine vinegar. Boom. That'll go right in your pan. If you happen to forget, add it into your pan. That's fine. Okay, so here we are. This is all mixed together, done in advance. And I'm going to show you, I have made mashed potatoes. These are creamy mashed potatoes that I've allowed to cool, because what I want to do with this is have a heartier, formable mashed potato. And take a look. We are going to take a scoop of mashed potato. We're going to roll it into a ball. I'm going to show you carefully, okay? Because then you're going to take your finger and make a little print. Take a little of your Papa Relleno, your Relleno mixture, that's your mixture that goes stuffed right inside. Take another half scoop, half palm of your mashed potato, and absolutely turn it into a nice rolled ball. Look at that. That's a great size. You can make them a little smaller if you want, larger if it's bigger bites, but that is perfect. These then chill in your refrigerator. They get rolled in your traditional flour, egg wash, panko. They're going to come out looking like this, right? And at this stage, you can either deep fry, which I love to do, and I would suggest it. If you don't have a deep fryer, put them in the oven and bake them off. But you want to come out with this. Let me break that open. Look at that. So delicious. Papa Relleno in a poppable bite. Mashed potatoes, spicy Cuban meat, love it. Empanada. I am taking a classic picadillo and putting it inside an empanada. Let's see how easy an empanada can be. Hi, KTO here in the Carnival Kitchen, and I am taking another Cuban classic, picadillo. And that is an incredibly flavorful ground beef dish, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make that. However, Then we're gonna take it one step further and we're gonna wrap it into an empanada, because this is all about the bites right now in this segment, and that's what we're gonna get to. So how do we take that classic dish and create it so perfectly and then make it bite-sized? Let's go. Ground beef, sitting right in front of me. How do we burst those flavors up? Let's start with the things that are more surprising. Capers, salty, briny, beautiful, bright, bursting in your mouth. Wow, is that gonna add a total treat to this dish. Again, a little diced chopped green olive. A little bit of salt on that. We love it. It's not too heavy. These are about 1/3 of a cup each. And this is 1 pound of ground beef. Green pepper, again, de-seeded. That's just your regular green pepper. It's not a jalapeno. There's not a ton of spiciness in Cuban food. So don't go thinking that everything Cuban is all like spicy hot. It's not. It's just real flavorful. Chopped onion. This is a white onion and not the red onion that we were looking at in the ceviche. Very important distinction there. When we're cooking, we want to cook with white onion. When it's raw and pickling, the red onion is just ideal. Okay, garlic, all ground up. 1 huge heaping tablespoon and a half, because I'm generous with my garlic. Little bit of tomato paste for a little rounded out sweetness. They do like that tomato paste going on, that flavor of that really dense tomato and the sugars that come out in the tomato. What's this I'm holding? Raisins. Oh my God, the salty, briny olives and capers and the peppers and onions mixed with these raisins. Salty, briny, sweet, fruity. It's a delicious combination. This is all gonna go in your frying pan. You're gonna saute this all up, and with our kitchen magic, I'm gonna show you what I've got going on here. Once it's all created. Now, if you do not bake and you do not want to make your own pastry, I've made my own puff pastry. If you do not want to, go out and buy sheets of puff pastry. Feel free. Give yourself that freedom. You don't have to be the dough maker of everything. Get something that's going to cut out round, whatever size you want them. You're going to utilize this. We're going to take this beautiful cutout here and let's fill this up, shall we? I'm going to just utilize this tray a little bit. So here we go. We move that off to the side. We're going to do a nice amount of filling. So we're going to get flavor in every bite, but we don't want it bursting out the sides. We're going to fold it over, cinching those ends so that they stay sealed. That's actually not just for beauty as much as it is beautiful. It's actually to close up the unit when you're cooking it and you're baking it. And last but not least, to get that gorgeous finish, we're going to do an egg wash. All right, now, kitchen magic again. How is this going to come out of our oven? We're going to bake this at 350 just until golden brown. You're going to see the puff pastry all puffed up, and voila! Look at that finish. It's light, it's flaky, it's perfect. If you want to seal it another way, use a fork. That's what I've done on these, is a fork gives a little bit more uniformity, but I just wanted to show you, if you're just a hands-on gal or guy, use them. When you think you're intimidated by some of these dishes, don't be. Come to me, I'll show you it's easier than you think. And we're topping it with our classic, really bright lime chimichurri. Made it several times. The recipe's in my cookbook. If you want the exact recipe, it's available. This is an amazing one. Those raisins and the capers, it's really brilliant. And I love a classic ceviche. So, Cuban, Oaxacan, whatever area, I love a good ceviche recipe, and this is my favorite. Cuban ceviche, which is not far off from any of the ceviches that I like to make. This is a combination and some tips and techniques I'm going to show you over and over again. Every time I make ceviche, I'm going to make certain recommendations, and this is where we get started. I love to work with mahi for ceviche. So if you want to use a different fish, go ahead, but you want something meaty. Grouper works nicely, a halibut if it's fresh, but mahi is amazing. So I've got a piece of raw mahi that I'm showing you, and you can absolutely work with it raw. However, For an added boost, I love to throw it on the grill and just get it. It's still raw inside, so we're still working with a raw piece of fish, but we get a smokiness and we change the texture of the top. It gives more of a meatiness and a toothsomeness to the fish that then cooks in the citrus. Okay, so if this is the way we're going, we are going to do a fine dice on this. So you are going to take your sharp knife and dice this into, I like a nice bite-sized piece, so kind of smaller dice. You don't want to mash it up. You want to get a sharp knife through it, but you're going to see that when put into a bowl, it's going to be nice and meaty still. Okay, now, what cooks ceviche? Lime juice. Cover it. This is going to be done in advance. If you can get going on this maybe 6 hours in advance in your fridge, your fish is going to come out nice and cooked all the way through from that lime juice. That's brilliant. That's when we get to building the rest of the flavors. Cilantro. I would dice it nice and fine, take off the stems, use just the leaves, and like I always say, just roll it into a ball. Get your knife going on. You're going to get some nice even chop on there. Doesn't matter if it's a little leafy, but we're going to add that. And then, okay, de-seeded jalapeno, an absolute must. De-seeded tomato, just the fleshiness. You're going to see this over and over again. We don't want that excess water from the tomato. We just want the flavor. Chopped red onion. Now, I'm going to tell you red onion is kind of the essential ingredient in this because it's strong and its flavor carries. But then when it cooks in with that lime, it adds an element that your palate is actually looking for. So in all Mexican or South American food in general, what you're going to want to do is make sure you're using red onion when it calls for red onion. Total secret, chopped green olives. I'm telling you, the secret alert went off. We are going to add those. Now, making ceviche is not an exact science, so I'm not going through all the proper measurements on ingredients. I'm telling you what they are, and I'm going to allow you to do it based on your flavor profiles. How it comes out is this. And this is our brilliant ceviche that's been marinating. The last minute, before you're going to do anything else, this is when you add your salt and pepper to taste. Don't want to add it too soon because you're going to suck that water right out of those ingredients and you're going to have a soupy mess. So do you see how mine still has a little marinade, but it's got the flavors and the components are not too broken down. I tell you right now, fry up your tortillas. Take your tortillas, cut them into circles, put them in your deep fryer, and when they're still hot, put them over a little mini muffin cone. You've got yourself a gorgeous taco shell. Bite size, of course. Fill, and then we're taking it from here. We're going to take our avocado. We're going to slice it so we get half. We're going to take our knife again. This is kind of a little kitchen hack that gets real easy. You're going to square it off into cube-sized pieces without cutting through to your hand, so not too aggressive, not your sharpest knife in the kitchen. And look at how this comes out in gorgeous cubes when you use a spoon. Okay, now what are we going to do with this? That's our garnish. If you want to use a little more of that cilantro on the top, you've got yourself an incredible bite. Oh, yum. That corn tortilla chip cup, avocado on top, cilantro. If you can, try and make up in advance for your guests. You don't want them sitting so long, so maybe have smaller trays and then replenish the tray so that cup stays crisp. Or you can do it as a dip, but I like it this way because people love to grab and go. I'll be right back with some bigger dishes that are also Cuban inspired. Hi, KTO in the Carnival Kitchen with our entree possibilities. Let's say you want to have a Cuban dinner party right? Follow me. It's all about the plate up with Cuban food. That's how you make it beautiful. Because Cuban food is very stewed and the ingredients can sometimes be brown, and we want to bring that up because we want to make our food pop with our eyes first. I am going to show you what a gorgeous salad. It's an avocado tomato salad with just a nice light avocado oil vinaigrette. And what I've done to enhance this and make it a little bit more Cuban is I've caramelized some onions with just a little olive oil, and then the onions, and sauteed them down so they're nice and clear and infused with a little flavor, salt and pepper on there, some gorgeous heirloom tomatoes, ripe avocados, a few black beans scattered around, and that's simple. I adore a butter lettuce, so just use that head, break it open, and make it rustic and simple and beautiful for your eyes. That's where we're headed here. It's bright, it's light, and it is creamy from the avocado. A delicious addition to where we're headed next, which is important. And these are two classic dishes, and I'm going to show you two different ones. The shrimp is a Cuban Creole shrimp. So shrimp Creole done Cuban style. What's the difference? The green olives. So I'm going to show you, I'm not going to show you everything, but I'm going to show you that the breakdown of this is some sauteed onions and green peppers with green olives, a little oregano. Then you're going to mix it with, when you actually saute in those shrimp, saute this in advance, saute in those shrimp at the last minute with a little bit of tomato sauce, and you're going to bring it up to that Creole level. However, do not be expecting the flavor profiles of like a New Orleans Creole, because it's not going to be there. The same spicings don't apply. It's your pepper, onion, green olive, oregano, tomato profile. It's delicious. I love to serve that with a nice white rice that has been cooked down with bay leaves and some spices, not very many spices, very mild, and then black beans that have been stewed with onions. It's incredible. Top it with a little chimichurri, put a little bit around the side, and you're going to also have those zesty cilantro bites and elements to highlight that entire dish. Now the plate up is essential. We're moving on here, but also I'm going to get to what we're doing this. This is called the ropas viejo. Literally means torn clothes. This is a dish in Cuba that is served at almost every restaurant, outing, family meals. There's several recipes out there, but it's not that unique. It's stewed beef that's been torn apart and placed over a gorgeous yellow rice. How do we make this pretty? I'm going to show you a little plating technique. Rice is ugly unless it's formed. Put it into a nice cup, any shape you like. Take your plate that you're going to serve it on. Top it, turn it over, and lift. Look at that. Therefore, when you tear your beef and shred it over, it's going to look beautiful. A little bit of diced tomato, a little cilantro, maybe again a dollop of that chimichurri, and you're really good to go. Plantains are something that we don't often see in this country. They are larger than a banana. A real plantain that you want to cook with is going to be fully brown with the sugars fully infused inside. You're going to peel it, slice it, so much starchier than a banana, so it's almost going to feel like a thick potato. And when we fry those up, salt them or cinnamon sugar, it's going to be an accoutrement that you're going to really want to enjoy as a treat. Little avocado, anything on the side. Oh, you're eating like a king. Cuban sweets are definitely influenced by other cultures and their tropical environment. Cuban guava cookies. That is incredible. It's incorporating that guava paste. You know I love that fruity finish. Feels tropical. Rice pudding is a traditional dessert in Cuba. And when done right and topped with your cinnamon, it's creamy. And that cinnamon it's not too sweet. And a nice creamed out rice adds a gorgeous element to it. This is a mango mousse cup. Oh, hello cuteness in a cup. Topped with raspberry coulis and a little mini cookie. A flan is a Spanish influence in Cuba that I think we all can relate to. A chocolate rum cake. Look at this. Ooh. Go and spread those Cuban delights all over to your friends and be the star of your own show.